Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Tuesday the 7th of June 2022. It's been a rainy day in some parts of Trinidad and Tobago, flood in some areas, but nevertheless we give God thanks for water. You know, I've been saying this from time to time. WASA does want to charge for water, with WASA stating that all water on the land belongs to them. So how come when we have flood in Trinidad and Tobago, WASA does not want to claim the water? Something for you to think about on this Tune It Up Tuesday. Ask yourself that question, especially farmers of Trinidad and Tobago and those in the low-lying communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So, my friends and family, a special good night to you. Welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook, Real Talk with Saieed Ali. We are live on YouTube also. TT Real Talk, subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So about now, viewers, go onto your phone, go onto your laptop, onto your computer, while you are looking at us on Synergy Television live, and just share our Facebook and YouTube link, viewers. Remember, there's a survey that is being conducted by Real Talk Group of Company. You could go onto the Real Talk with Saieed Ali page, click the link, and just fill out the survey. The same thing with the Real Talk Group of Company Facebook page. Go on the page, click the link, and fill out the survey. Now, the purpose of this survey is to find out why you were turned down from a financial institution from being granted a loan. Remember, like I said, Real Talk Group, I'm in the process of applying for the license to run a credit union in Trinidad and Tobago. The heading of that credit union will be the Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society in Trinidad and Tobago. I am about 90% complete. All the paperwork, the meetings, the training sessions, we are about 90% complete, viewers. So very soon, with the grace of God, Real Talk Credit Union will be birthed right here in Caroni Savannah Road in Shogunas. So the reason for the survey, it is something that they need. So I just want you to go on the Real Talk with Saieed Ali page, go on the Real Talk Group of Company page and click the link in our survey. We want to know why you were turned down from a financial institution for a loan. That is what we want to know. So the credit union would be able to facilitate certain structure that would accommodate you. Now I'm going to tell you something. You could be applying for a loan and your monthly installment will be $1,500. But all you're getting is $1,000. And you cannot reach the next $500. And that will be default. Now, we want to put things in place that would be able to be flexible in meeting your installment. Hence the reason why I am looking forward for you filling out this survey, so you would be able to help Real Talk Credit Union in making flexible loan policies to meet your monthly installment. Now, it is a big thing for us, viewers. I need your support. In order for me to help you, in order for the credit union to help you, we need you to do this survey. Once you fill it out, it will become easier. It will become easier. And let me tell you something. I here to change the way banking in Trinidad and Tobago goes, you know. I am here to change that. It's too much of a red tape with this and that, the next, the other. There's too much a thing you need. So I am here. I'm almost 90% complete. Well, let's say 90% complete of all the training session and the paperwork and thing that the Commissioner's Office is requiring. So I am hoping by the grace of God very soon, since December last year we started the project. I informed you of every step we took by, and we're on our way, I should say, to a recovery. So viewers, once more, special good night to you. So as we start off our program tonight, it's Tune It Up Tuesday. Remember, on Wednesday, Wednesday would be the 8th of June. Remember, we have our public concerns night. So whatever video footage you have with a little note, whatever pictures you have, send it to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com and we will air your plight on television on our public concerns night being on Wednesday night. So straight into it. The government of Trinidad and Tobago will not be providing a loan guarantee to the telecommunication service of Trinidad and Tobago. That is TSTT. For the $427 million it has borrowed to pay severance to retrenched workers. This means taxpayers are insulated, my mistake. Taxpayers are insulated, protected from the restructuring exercise. Now, Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have said. Gonzalez confirmed the loan figure and stated that TSTT has approached local bank and financial institutions for financing to assist in shouldering the cost of the severance package and was given 6 years to repay. He also noted that if TSTT fails to take a decisive action, the country's largest telecommunication provider will be forced to close its door by the end of the year and all of its workers will be sent home. Wow. All of their workers. So that will be another Petrotrin in the making. Another Petrotrin in the making. All. Moving along. UNC, Oropuch West MP, Devendranath Tanku has called on the government to waiver property tax for flood victims. Following the bad weather across TNT and reports of flooding, Tanku stated that hundreds of homeowners are experiencing flooding after heavy rainfall from last week into this week. He added that Finance Minister Colin Imbert recently stated his intention was to implement property tax in the current calendar year. But flood victims have already suffered loss to their properties, and penalizing them further with property tax will be excessively unfair and difficult. Remember when I was telling you the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, multi-millionaires are exempted from paying property tax. Those who own a multi-story dwelling apartment buildings, they are exempted. They are millionaires being exempted. For Colin Imbert, it is okay. But for the small man, the man who took a loan to build his house and have to pay that loan for 40, 50, and 60 years, they are the ones that is feeling the pinch and additional to their monthly expense. And additional. Now, what are we going to say? Hooray? While Colin Imbert exempted those who have multi-story dwelling. You exempt millionaires. Millionaires you exempted from paying property tax. And that is a joke to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Remember when he was laughing on the fishman and the bygone man and the pumpkin man? What Colin failed to realize is that is the same bygone man and the fishman and the pumpkin man and the man who cut grass. Them is the same people and them who would vote for PNM. I am saying it out loud and clear. If they vex, they vex. But that is the reality we face today. That is the reality. But nevertheless, the truth won't hurt you. It will just put you in a position to feel pain. You know why? Because you have to dig deeper in your pockets. And when you create a hole in your pocket now and you drop some money in it and the money lost, well, what am I going to tell you? You just lose out. It's sad, eh? It's sad. Tanko noted that the predictions as a severe rainy season this year only emphasize on the exposure of these homeowners and citizens should not suffer because of the government neglect to deal with it. Caller, good night.
Very good evening to Mr. Saeed.
To you, my friend.
Let me do it early this evening.
Talk to me.
So, you see what you just mentioned there? A couple days ago, last week I wanted to call you and tell you something, but I didn't get through. I went to top up my tires with nitrogen by a place recently. So up comes this man pulling in the tire place with a BMW i8. Now this guy is over $1 million TP.
Yes.
1 point something million. Uncle with grey hair, bare feet, short pants, short sleeve shirt, come out the car, organize the business. I went and I said, Uncle, I like your car. And he smiled and whatnot. And so I was talking to the guy in the place. I said, listen, what uncle is do for a living? He said, boy, since I am a small child, uncle planting pumpkin.
Pumpkin, yeah, I know that car.
Uncle is a pumpkin farmer. Uncle have 2 i8s, I ain't calling no name. A convertible Benz and 2 Range Rover. And uncle planting pumpkin. So when call member bumpy gum, and they talk about people planting pumpkin and Baji can make that money. And then Jennifer Baptiste adding this stupidness by faith and Polari. When people work hard and they sweat.
Correct.
And they earn and they achieve, why people must get extra, boy? All the best. And one more thing, Said. I want to bet you anything. Remember, I tell you this tonight. I am going to bet you anything that the Prime Minister is going to fire Reginald Amo and he is going to bring back Faris as the Attorney General so they could proceed with the case in Miami. All the best. Have a great evening.
Thank you, my friend. Now, I just want to say something so people would understand. You don't laugh at pumpkin farmers and Baji farmers. All you know how much for a head of lettuce now? $15. $15 for one head of lettuce. Imagine if you have 1,000 lettuce plant put down at $15 for one. How much you getting? And in 6 weeks' time, you're getting lettuce. Let's just say you spend about 3,000-4,000 overall. You're making a cool 10,000 in your pocket. But you have to work it. You have to be in it. And same thing with the pumpkin. If you plant a 5-acre pumpkin, and you get, let's say, 300,000 pounds of pumpkin, or 400,000 pounds of pumpkin, $1 per pound, that is $300,000-$400,000 right there. And about, how long pumpkin does it take? About 8 months, 6 months, 3 months? So while calling me both and them laughing, the farmers working hard. I know about garden work, you know. I know about garden work, you know. I know about planting pawpaw and pineapple. I know about them things, you know. I grew up in them things. My uncle used to plant that. I know about putting 100 pounds of pawpaw in a feed bag and throwing it on your shoulder and walking with it. I know about that. Caller, good night. Hello? You stick, you got the click. As we move on tonight, Minister of Health Terence Singh have stated that the ministry will not be recommending the removal of the mask mandatory at this time. Singh stated that he understood the public wanted to put the virus in the rear view mirror. But at this stage in the pandemic, if the decision is made because of the public pressure, then persons will lose faith in the government. Listen to Terence.
Our view and my view at the ministry is that at this point in time, at this stage of the pandemic, where people want to put this virus in the rearview mirror, and for understandable reasons. People are tired, people are fed up, and so on. The last thing you want is a Minister of Health recommending to do something because of public pressure and to be popular or because a question is asked in a press conference. When you do that, you give in to public pressure, and then you have to reintroduce the mandate as other countries have had to do, you find that the public loses all faith in the government. They lose all faith in the measures because they don't like the yo-yoing of positions. Today no mask, tomorrow we ask you to put back your mask.
But Terence, you talking about lose faith in the government? The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago already lose faith when you all refuse to address the adverse condition of when individuals took the vaccine. You all failed to address the matter, so hence the reason why they lost faith. Don't talk about the people with lose faith. They have already done that. I for one don't believe in you. I for one don't believe in you. Now, he added that the ministry will monitor what happens in the next 2 months when the public health ordinance expires and make recommendation accordingly. Listen to him.
We have more or less done away with TT Pass. Let's see what happens. And let's see what the evidence shows for the next 2 months until the end of July. We will continue to monitor. I give you that assurance. And as soon as we feel comfortable that we could take off masks in certain settings, we will make those recommendations to the Honorable Prime Minister. And as usual, he will either announce it, or if he feels, he can delegate it to me, but I will not be making any announcements without the authority of the Honorable Prime Minister.
Now, viewers, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parashram also states that the ministry recommended that mask mandatory or mask mandate remain in place in the light of the Omicron variant being the most transmissible variant. He added that masking should be maintained to control the spread because some countries who removed mask mandates have reintroduced them. The CMO also notes that even though there was a surge in numbers when restrictions were removed, there is now a slight decline. Listen to the CMO.
It is important that masking be maintained to decrease the likelihood of spread at the population level at this point in time. We have seen other countries in the world remove their mask mandate, and some of them have reintroduced them a few weeks or months later based on the increase in cases. All around the world, we have seen reintroduction of masking mandates to deal with surges. So we have maintained ours. So we are seeing, in terms of our trajectory, as expected, there was an increase in the early part of May, late part of April, because we had changed our regulation on April 4th, where we removed a lot of the restrictions that were in place. Of course, as Dr. Paul would have indicated, schools began for the 5 to 11s as well, which increased the amount of movement in the population generally. And we saw that upsurge occurring. Now we're seeing a little bit of a plateau with a slight bit of downward trajectory, which is a very good sign.
Caller, good night.
Yes, I don't know if you have information on the committee Prime Minister formed to give you the cause of death for people with COVID. That committee, like they get COVID and they dead too.
We're not hearing from them at all. Thank you, my friend. Moving along, Chief Education Officer, the CEO, Dr. Peter Smith, have stated that the merit/demerit point system is being proposed by the Ministry of Education to help combat school indiscipline and violence. Now, Dr. Smith states that incidents of violence were plaguing 5% of the country's 820 schools, and that those incidents were concerning. Listen to this.
School indiscipline and violence presents a serious challenge in less than 5% of the 820 public schools. Nevertheless, the specter of adolescents engaged in fights broadcast over traditional and social media is a concern to all of us. Of equal concern is the psychological effect on the student of the school, their parents and teachers, and the culture of the school.
Now, doctor, we understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It is 5%. It is affecting 820 schools. No. What are we doing about it? That is the problem. What are we doing about it? Because since 2021, I have been highlighting school fights throughout Trinidad and Tobago. For late 2021, we have been highlighting fights. We have been talking about school violence for some time now on Real Talk. For some time now. And what are we doing? What is the ministry doing? The ministry now, they want to take police from TTPS officers from streets or vehicular patrol and place them in the schools now. No, you don't need that. You don't need that. Students fighting, bring them before the principal, suspend them. You cannot be bullying other children in school. Bullying is against the law in school. Fighting is against the law. Violence is against the law. Carrying a weapon in school is against the law. I understand what you're saying, doctor. But when somebody stab my child and bust my child head and bruise up my child's skin and my son coming home to tell me this, what am I to do as a parent? When the education system is doing nothing, when the principal is saying, well, they're going to work out that, work out what? For some time now, school violence have been highlighted. And what is the Ministry of Education doing? Let me tell you something. From 1% they climbed to 2%. From 2% they got to 4%. From 4% they reached 5%. And still you don't have a solution for the problem. When it reached that some student gets stabbed up in school, or some student die from a fight, then you all will step in. That time it will be too late, because some parents is going to take revenge and action against that student who killed their son or their daughter or break up their hand. And that is what you all waiting on. That is what you all are waiting on. And then the ministry will put out a disclaimer. Well, we were working on something. Working on what? How many years you all working? How many years? You can't use corporal punishment in school, because some police officers say corporal punishment wouldn't work. But when bandits run in all your house, and the homeowner kill the bandit, the homeowner is the wrong person. That is where we are in Trinidad. Run in my house, I'm killing a stone dead. You didn't run in a policeman house, you know. You didn't run in a prime minister house, you know. You run in my house. What you doing in my property? Who told you to jump the fence? You will meet your maker. You feel like studying the policeman? You feel like studying the prime minister? No, you didn't jump them fence. You jumped my fence. So for jumping my fence now, you will feel my brunt of the law. That is where we reach. Because keep in mind, the Minister of National Security said, it is not my job to make the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago feel safe. That is not his job. So why the hell this man is still the Minister of National Security? Why is he still the Minister of National Security if that is his statement? We like it so. Caller, good night.
Hello. Good night, sir.
My friend, how are you?
Very good tonight.
Thank you. Nice to hear.
Listen, with these school children, it's so easy to bring all these things to an end, with this fighting and all these things. But you see, these hyenas, you have to deal with them like this.
differently.
All they have to do is to put it in Parliament and pass the law. When children misbehave in school, you just call YTC and let YTC come
Correct.
together.
Correct.
Right.
Well said.
And let YTC deal with these hyenas. And you can put Rowley too in YTC.
All right, my friend. I understand what you're saying. Thank you so much. You see, we need to deal with it. We have the video where the, I believe Joe fixed that video. The one with the girl with the knife stabbing up. She fixed it? Just run through it there before you show it up now. So viewers, this is something we need to do. We need to fix this problem. We need to fix the problem. School violence, look at it. Look at blood. You could tell me my daughter going to school and you come home bloody? Somebody with a knife in the school mark you up? No, you have to be mad. Oh, you have to be mad. This is what the ministry is waiting on. Now you want to take the police now that's supposed to be patrolling the streets of Trinidad and Tobago for real criminal. You want to put them in school now to deal with some children. We got from bad to worse. From bad to worse. We start MTS guards in school. Where them gone? How many schools in Trinidad and Tobago now have MTS guards to deal with the situation? What about the deans and the principal? Do they still continue to expel misbehavior in school, or are they allowing these things to happen? So I just want to say no. You know, it's not a violent fella. Supposing now, just supposing, now this is real talk you're getting, eh? Revenge is a real thing. I want to let you understand that. And revenge have demonstrated itself in countries around the globe for decades. By chance, if that girl parents decides to take a little advantage, what's going to happen to that student that pulled that weapon and marked that child? What's going to happen? I'm just saying something. It's real talk you're getting. This is a real scenario. This is not a movie playing thing. This is real blood, real weapon, real student, real slash. Now that girl have a scar on her face for the rest of her life. What's going to happen there? What about if that is the only child for that parent? What about if that parent is a single father or a single mother? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? You, the viewers, tell me. If that was your daughter, what would have happened? If that was your only child, what would have happened? The scenario already happened, you know. The scenario already happened. And revenge is a heck of a thing. But nevertheless, hold on. He noted that a multi-sector or sectoral committee was set up and charged with drafting a school discipline matrix outlining infrastructure and solution to curb these incidents. Or let's hear the big type of word they're using. They set up a committee to deal with it. Now, that committee will probably take up the next 5 years to come up with a plan. It's a very, very simple thing. Very simple. Long ago when we had fights in school, again discipline, again expel one time, you know. Take her 7 days, take her 14 days home. And when they call your parents in school and they realize you fight, Well, boy, when you reach home, pray you have soft candle home. I tell you, pray you have one of the world leaf on your home. Pray you have a little iodex, because when you reach home, the right side or the left side of your butt, it will, you know. I sending you to school to learn, and you fighting? Whap, 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 take that. And you never fight in school again, because when you reach home, you know where you're getting. And on top of that, now, you get suspended for 7 days or 14 days. And when you're home now, on top of that now, you have to do chores. That was discipline in them days. What about now? You think the ministry care about you? You think they care about who learn and who I learn? You think they care about if you come out a doctor or you come out a farmer? You think their business? No. They have no proper infrastructure in school for discipline. It's simple. The Ministry of Education simply have to say, once they have fighting at school, let the principal suspend them. That is all you have to do. But you set up a committee. You set up a committee. Hear this, eh? They set up a committee. And they are charged with drafting a school discipline matrix outlining infrastructure and solution to curb this incident. How long will that team take before they bring a policy? About 5 years? Call her good night.
Yes, good night, sir.
You're live, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. What would you have done?
Me?
If our child had getting cut on?
An incident like that? Here what I doing? First thing first, we go by the principal. That's number one. Both of you are suspended. That's number two. Number three, you have a weapon. What you doing a weapon in school? You're being charged for possession. For possession with a weapon in a school. That's number three. Number four now, you're under 18, we understand that. But if you have all these students under 18, all of them going to get away with a crime? All of them going to get away with a crime? Eh? Remember when Andrea Barrett, listen to this, let me bring back something for you. Remember when Andrea Barrett, the incident happened with her, right? Remember there was this one girl, I highlighted the matter right here. There was this one girl, about a week or two after, up in a report, traveling with a penknife. And the police ended up stopping the vehicle, they're searching, and they found this girl with a penknife, and they charged her for having a weapon. How many of you remember that? Call her good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Yeah, calling for Vice. Mr. I'm sorry to say this, but anybody interfere with my two children, and starting from the parents, come back down to them.
I understand what you're saying.
Yes, a comment starting from the parents. Parental guidance is the most important thing. If you don't have parental guidance, right, and love, we don't have nothing. So if you hear these parents, let them turn outside there and let them feel like it interfere with my child. I am coming for the parents at first. This is just my contribution to you.
Thank you, my friend. Let me finish out the story. I have something to show you. Now, the proposed action for indisciplined and well-behaved student in a department point. Now, it's a based system. Listen to this.
Consequences occur at 3 levels: first, second, and third offenses. Examples of consequences include detention, parent conferences, in and out of school suspension, extended suspension. We are also looking at the development of a merit-demerit points-based system.
You feel you're driving taxi on the road? You feel you're driving taxi on the road? Or you feel you're the driver of a vehicle on the road? You want a point system? Let me tell you something. Before I go any further, listen to this. Dr. Smith also noted that there was a decrease in the number of suspension and serious fight, and added that a meeting with the principal of particularly affected school have been scheduled for June 9 to address challenges and provide any necessary resources. Listen to this man.
At this time, the ministry has seen a decrease in the number of suspensions and serious fights. The ministry will continue to implement measures to reduce levels of indiscipline and violence in our schools. As such, a meeting has been carded for June 9th with the principals of schools that face challenges.
So Sharon Gomez Cooper, who is the acting Commissioner of Police, states that because of the partnership with TTPS and the ministry, the officers will continue to visit schools and patrol schools before and after. Listen to this.
We have patrols during the peak hours during the course of the morning before school starts. The police, they are there at the schools that will identify. They are there. They would be stationary for a while, and then they would go into the schools, drive around, make sure everything is okay, speak with the liaison officer. If there is need to speak with anyone else, they would come back out, and on evenings they would also pay attention to those said schools. So, as Dr. Smith said, recognize that the violence in these schools are down to almost zero.
So hear this now. A Williamville secondary school girl was stabbed and slashed with a knife during a fight with another schoolgirl yesterday. During a scuffle, the girl, who was overwhelmed by others, pulled out a knife and stabbed her main attacker some 3 times before she was pulled away by a male student. So everybody saw this girl get stabbed and did not even intervene. And that is the sad, stinking part. She was later taken to the Princestown Health Facility and then transferred to the San Fernando General Hospital. Her injuries include a 10-centimeter long wound on the right side of her face, from her eye to her lips, a 3-centimeter deep laceration on her chest wall, and a slash on her left arm. Call her good night.
Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Yes. You hear me now? Saeed?
Yes, go right ahead, I'm listening to you.
All right. I want you to recall something that happened in Florida a few years ago. A 12-year-old boy shot his stepmother to death, and he was charged in the court
don't drop that picture.
as an adult for the crime he committed.
She face showing.
When people commit an offense, let them face the courts. And not until that starts happening in Trinidad. This stupidness will not stop. I have been saying this for over 20 years. And I am young as a song. In my days, if you do something wrong in school, the way of the transgressor is exceedingly difficult 500 times. You had penance.
Yes.
You don't have that again in school. So, see if you can get the authorities to amend the law to charge them for the offenses they commit. You fight, go to court, pay the consequences.
Yes.
Because this has started yesterday. It started since independence.
Correct.
Pre-independence. And if people have memory, let them remember all that. I am young as a song.
Thank you, my friend.
Good night.
Thank you, my friend. Now, hear this. Hear this. Princestown police are investigating Contacted yesterday, Ministry of Education Dr. Nyang Asbidoli stated that the ministry will investigate any fights occurring when students are in school uniform, but noted that fights outside the school compound are referred to the police. On Friday, a demerit point-based system was implemented to help deal with violence at schools. How are you going to deal with this? How are you going to deal with this now? Number 1, you're in school uniform. Number 2, you're under 18. Number 3, you have a weapon. Number 4, you commit a crime. And I could go on and on and on with different charges. So how are we going to deal with it? You're going to work the merit point system? My daughter come home with a 10 centimeter slash from she eye till she lip, and you're going to use a demerit point system? My child got marked on her chest, scar on her face, slash on her arm, and have to live with that scar for the rest of her natural life, and you want to tell me a demerit point system? That is what you want to tell me? Huh? Kola, good night.
Hi, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
I believe the whole system, what happened in school today, is because of domestic violence. The children are seen at home and they go into the school and continue to do it with these students.
Thank you, my friend. I will tell you something. You go to school to learn manners. You go to school to learn to get an education. You go to school to learn to be the most outstanding and upstanding citizen or child in Trinidad and Tobago. That is what you go to school to do. You don't go to school to walk with a weapon. You don't go to school to look for fight. Like I say, when a fight starts, you go to the principal. Suspension. Who caused the fight? All you need is a witness. You say, I go tell you something in the magistrate court. What they need is a witness to a murder. And you will be sentenced to hang. They have all those witnesses there. Who started the fight? Mary, you started the fight. I had no problem. Suspension one time. And when Mary go home to her parents, now let the parents deal with Mary. But you ain't coming in my school, Mary, or James, or Jessica, or however you might be named. You ain't coming in my school to cause problems. Not my school. Not while I am the principal or the dean. You're not doing that. Not at all. Not under my watch. So I wonder now, seeing that she's under the age of 18, she's in school uniform, what are the charges? What TTP is going to say? She's too young? You're too young and you're willfully carrying a knife? You're in school uniform and you're willfully carrying a knife in school? In school? Kola, good night.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good night to the viewers. This is just a suggestion that I always have, and I'm trying to get across to well, it's a suggestion to help some of our students as well. For years, I've been trying to get across a message to the schools, right? That I talk to Maulanas, I talk to imams, I talk to the principal of schools. Is that there are at least 100 children going to these after school in Jumas on Fridays. 100 in Riocaro, 100 in Point, 100 in Princestown, 100 in Tunapuda, 100 in Charleville, and so on, and Barapo, and so on. If the imams of these mosques reserve at least one Friday every month for these children, to give a khutbah especially for them, Give the course especially for them.
I understand what you're saying, my friend. I understand what you're saying, and I thank you so much.
And you know, I just finished. You know, on topics of obedience to parents, obedience to teachers, obedience to elders, how you could have relationship, when a good relationship with your students and these things. Give some importance to these children every one Friday at least, just one Friday to reserve for the children. Okay, this is just my contribution.
Thank you, my friend. What we need in school is proper discipline. Take what I'm telling you. If we had the long time rules in school, let me tell you something, school wouldn't be as how it is now, you know. You know why I like this? Because I grew up in them days. I know what discipline is all about. When your parents send you in a school to learn, don't come home and say you was in a fight. No, don't make that mistake. Don't let that news reach in my parents' ears. Because it's corporal punishment inside the house and the neighbor coming to help you. But we going up in the 21st century and we okay with the bullying in school. We okay with the fighting in school. We okay with the boys and them sexually assaulting the girls and them in school and calling them names and this and we okay with that. The ministry seems to be okay with that. If you have proper discipline in school, these things never take place. Never. I don't care if you're single parents or you're double parents. Discipline is a key factor in school. And if we don't have discipline in school, well then we have undisciplined youth growing up in society. And someday, somebody will send them 6 feet down. You know why? Because of undiscipline. Now let's talk now. Talk now. You see, if I'm going to make a statement, first thing I'm going to say, Saeed, you're biased. That should have been my daughter. That should have been my daughter. You'd have seen how fast TTPS would have moved. Take what I'm telling all you. Here it is. TSTT worker petrol protesting for negotiation into over 2%. Here, Hines. Minister of National Security Fitzgerald Hines have stated that while he understands the challenges facing police and commend them for their dedication to duty, the Minister of Finance had a difficult job trying to allocate adequate funds to each branch of government. Earlier in the program, President of the Police Social Welfare Association, acting ASP Gideon Dixon, called on Hines to lobby for a salary increase for who? For police. Now let's talk now. Call her good night. Look at the minister.
Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Good evening again. Please permit me. Okay, so we often the government often like to quote first world countries.
Correct.
What they're doing, how they're advancing and whatnot.
Well said.
And let me be brief. There is three incarceration level in the U.S. system. One, juvenile detention.
Yes.
State prison and federal prison. But in the United States, and this could solve the problem, you know, you have juvenile court. When people commit acts like this in the U.S., they are arrested, they go to court, they go through the motions of the court, and if they have to be incarcerated, they are incarcerated. However,
yes,
the nickname for it is called juvie. While you're in juvie, you're going to school as normal. Eh?
Correct.
So a system like that, once they realize they could be incarcerated, they will start to behave. All the best. Have a great evening.
Thank you, my friend. So Dixon now is telling Hines, lobby for salary increase for police. However, Hines said, while the work of the police, like other arms of national security, was critical to Trinidad and Tobago, Finance Minister Colin Membert has a very difficult task on his hand, given the number of different government agencies competing for what? For resource. Using the, hey, I don't want to say this, but all forgive me Trinidad and Tobago. Forgive me Trinidad and Tobago. Using the analogy of Jesus Christ feeding his followers with a few fishes and a loaf of bread, Hines stated that Imbud could not perform a similar miracle with the national or with the nation's budget. Hines called on workers to work harder. Well, let's say something now. Say something. Call a good night. Hello?
Yeah, hello, good night, Said.
You're live on Real Talk. Go right ahead, my friend.
Yes, I'd like to make a contribution there.
Sure.
When they ban corporal punishment in school, they never put things in place.
Correct.
To curb school violence.
Correct.
Once that you're banning corporal punishment, you must put out a law to curb school violence.
Yes.
And they never think about it in that way. Right now, in case, let's say, a teacher passed and a teacher looked at part of 5, and a student felt a blow at the teacher will have to run.
Yep.
Because that the teacher not entitled to touch a student. Right? The teacher not even entitled to defend himself. That is the law. However, it still have laws that could protect that. Because it still have a law that is called an uncontrollable child. Where the child will be taken before the magistrate will summon the parents, and they will do what is the law thinks fit. Hence the reason why they call it uncontrollable child.
Yes.
So you can be taken to before the court at any age over 10 years of age. You can be taken before the court, and you can be deemed to be an uncontrollable child. What is the TTPS doing by enforcing this law?
Correct.
Right? You must put things in place. You just can't run and just erase a law and then cater for down the road.
True.
Once you want to remove corporal punishment, you must put things. So which means it had a big lapse with respect to the banning of corporal punishment because nothing else was put in place, right? Or if a teacher cannot defend himself in a fight. Now, let's say if a teacher was passing there and a teacher gets stabbed.
Correct.
You cannot respond to that, You have to leave that scene and run according to the law. You, if you have your child at home and you decide to discipline your child, your child could tell you, well, Saeed or Daddy, you cannot lash me. And they go straight to the police station.
Correct.
And they make a report.
Yep.
And if for some reason you hit them a belt or two and the skin have whale, the police come into charge you as the parent.
Well said.
So you as the parents, according to law, you cannot discipline your child anymore. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, my friend, and thank you for educating the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago as well. So moving along from that now, viewers, Energy Minister Stuart Young have stated that the liberalization of fuel price is still under consideration given the rising fuel cost. But Stuart, all you raise the fuel price. All you raise the fuel price, so don't come in no Mickey Mouse game and say because of the rising cost of fuel price, all you raise the fuel price. Guyana drop, Barbados drop, all you raise. So when you're talking about given the rising cost, it's not the citizen's fault, it's all your fault. And that's to start off with, viewers. Now, Young stated that months ago, the government passed the necessary legislation for the liberalization of fuel. And with the rising cost of fuel, it continues to be something that is under consideration. Listen to the Energy Minister.
It is in this House months ago, as well as the other place, the government passed the necessary legislation for the liberalization of fuel. Since then, many members on this side, the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, and myself, have been speaking to the population about the cost of fuel for Trinidad and Tobago. Recently, as we all know, a decision was taken by the government with respect to the sharing of the cost, the burden of this between the government, the taxpayers, and the population by splitting the amount of the subsidy. So to say whether it is the intention of the government to remove the fuel subsidy, the government spoke about that ages ago. The government's position has not changed, and what the Prime Minister, the Honourable Prime Minister, was speaking about this week is that with the rising cost of fuel, it continues to be something that is under consideration as to whether it would come tomorrow, it would come 2 months from now, or whenever the population will be told.
So I'll come for these people, Davy and Josh. Davy, Josh, I'll contact me and come and check me. All right, in Shagona as well, I came last time. Thank you so much. So here it is, viewers. The cabinet took that decision to raise the fuel. Not the people, the cabinet. They talk about subsidy and sharing subsidy. So don't you think other countries do the same thing? But how in a time where Ukraine and Russia having a war presently between both countries, how is it that Guyana dropped their price and Barbados dropped their price? And we increase our price. How the maths adding up there? Stuarty, how is the maths adding up? I want to know. And the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago also wants to know why it is that you or the cabinet raised the fuel price while two neighboring countries looking at the same war that going on with Russia and Ukraine reduced their price. Reduce their price. Come now man, say something. What caused it? The cabinet took that decision. The cabinet took that decision, people. Guyana government took the decision to reduce the VAT. The Barbadian government took the decision to drop the fuel price. Our government and cabinet took the decision to increase it. And they still have a war going on. The war ain't stopped. The war is still going on. So when Stuart, you want to come and mama guide the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, hey, not under my watch. Not under Saeed's watch. Nah, that's a mistake. Now I understand, Stuarty. I understand that you are the Minister of Energy. You have a right to come out and say what you have to say. I am not against that. The citizen is not against that. You have your right, being a minister, to say what you have to say. But you also owe the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago answers. That is what you owe the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And now viewers, when we go to the House, we have Bridget to defend the PNM ministers. Whenever the opposition would ask a question that would pertain to public matter and public interest and public need explanation and public need answers, Bridget jumps up. I am sorry, I will not allow that question. The famous Bridget. Let me tell you something. Bridget maybe never get so famous. I tell you, she maybe never get so famous in all she life. But real talk will make you famous. But not in a nice way. Not in a nice way. Imagine that. In April, Minister of Finance Colin Membert announced that gas price will be adjusted as well as kerosene. He noted that with a reduced subsidy, the government would still have to pay $840 million in subsidy. What a thing. Tell me what me out. What a thing. It's a shame. It's a disgrace what we're doing in Trinidad. Those in authority, like, we have no time. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, it's our public concerns night tomorrow. So until then, be safe and enjoy your night. you.